The Southern Baptist minister, his first parish was given to him somewhere from another parish, and he goes to a place, maybe something like Kansas, where there's no people and there's nothing in the town, and finally a town developed, and they get their first minister, and he was given the duties by the church to build the church, and so he had to get the boards, and he had to get the music, and he had to get the prayer books, and they built the building, and they did everything, and so on and so forth. Finally, he built the church.
Pardon me, doctor.
That's all right. Finally, he built the church. Everything had arrived. The bell was in the steeple. The windows were in where the sun could come in from the east. And finally, it was time for his sermon. And he said, "Oh, everything arrived but the organ. Everything had arrived." So it was desperate. It was desperate. And he finally acquired a piccolo player. So he was standing at the pulpit, and he said the hymn books were in line, the pews were in line, the parish was in line. And he said, if you all turn to hymn number 17.
I thought it was hymn number 3, but that's fine.
Could have been hymn number 3. He said 17. And we'll all begin to sing. Comes from the piccolo player. He says, I can't play hymn number 117. The minister says to the parish, piccolo player say he can't play hymn number 17. If you'll all turn to hymn number 27. So that's minister looks over at the piccolo player, and the piccolo says, I can't play hymn number 27. Minister says as he grabs the pulpit, piccolo player say he can't play hymn 27. If you all turn to hymn number 77. Everybody's picking to the thing. Finally they come to the thing. The minister looks over at the piccolo player. Piccolo player says, I can't play hymn number 77. Minister says to the parish, piccolo player say he can't play hymn number 77. And somebody from the back part of the church, on a shady side where the sun didn't shine, said, piccolo player's a motherfucker. The minister with his new parish says, oh, this is a house of God. This is a house of religion. This is a house of love. Who called the piccolo player motherfucker? Nobody rose his hand. Okay. Who was the man who was sitting next to the man who called the piccolo player motherfucker? Nobody rises. Now the minister's a little bit desperate, and he's white-knuckled at the pulpit. He said, who was the man who was sitting next to the man who was sitting next to the man who called the piccolo player motherfucker? Would he rise? And finally, someone in the unlighted part of the parish rose up and says, I ain't the man who called the piccolo player motherfucker. And I ain't the man who was sitting next to the man who called the piccolo player motherfucker. And I ain't the man who was next to the man who called the piccolo player motherfucker. All I'd like to know is who's the motherfucker called him a piccolo player.